Good Saturday morning, my magical friends. I apologize, I'm running a little bit late this morning, but we had some sort of an explosion a few minutes ago, or a thunder, or something. I don't know. Either way, it totally got the dogs all riled up, so I had to get them settled down so I can actually do this live stream in peace. So, welcome back if you are returning, and welcome home if you're new. Today has been the day that I have been awaiting all week. We're going to go back through all the cards and see how our progression went this week. So I hope you all grabbed your cups of your favorite beverage, whatever that happens to be for this Saturday. And you're ready to dive into this. This may or may not take a little bit of time, considering the amount of cards we went through this week. But we'll take it one at a time, all right? So Monday we started off with the question about, what excuses are you making right now to keep you from what you want? Good morning, Robin. And to whom are you comparing yourself as far as your success goes in life, right? So that was Monday's questions. Tuesday, we started shifting the energies just a little bit. And it was asking us if we were willing to raise our vibrations to a more joyful level and keep it there more consistently, right? So we got the Am I Willing card, and when was the last time you couldn't stop laughing or smiling, right? And ultimately, too, as well, this was also asking us to kind of step up and maybe be that sense of humor that someone else needs as they're going through something. So the secondary message for Tuesday was to make somebody else laugh too, which was kind of funny because on Wednesday, did we only get one card one of these days? Did I get that backwards? Or am I missing cards? I may or may not be missing cards. Anyways, the cards that I have pulled out. So I only have 8. I should have 10. I'm not sure. Did I skip a live stream this week? I don't know. Oh, well. I should have prepared more for this and make sure I had all the cards. Anyways. So the fear card came up yet again in all of this mix and asked us if we were still letting fear stop us, right? Remember at the beginning of the week, it was, are you letting, or what excuses you're making to not get where you want to go? And it's usually, lack of money or blah, blah, blah. Nobody wants to listen to what I have to say. Some fear-based programming, right? And then towards the end of this week, it started shifting again and asked us to name all the things that we love, right? And then ultimately, the secondary question after you list those things that you love was, are you one of them, right? So what this tells me is maybe that whole fear blockage is possibly linked to that whole self-love principle, or self-worth principle, should I say. We're also really being asked to communicate our needs and be very, very, very flexible, right? And that was definitely a lot of what was going on this week, especially out in the world too. I don't know if any of you guys are keeping up on a lot of that stuff. Plus, some really crazy stuff happened this morning. Some underwater explosion happened. Well, it's a volcano went off in Tonga and created a huge, like 3-foot tsunami there. And I guess this morning, a small tsunami was supposed to hit the west coast of like 1 or 2 feet in Alaska. So I'm not sure. I don't know if a lot of damage would be caused by that, but definitely could catch some people unawares. So prayers for all of you going through these crazy earth change scenarios right now. Hey, I'll put you back in the other room, man. Okay. So then I know a couple days I did not pick the cards for the financial part of the reading for the collective. I did, however, pick 3 for this week. And we had the 18, the 42, and the 29. So we started off this week with the reminder of you do not need to have money to attract money, right? Oh, sorry. We ended the week with that one. But we started at the point of, nothing is more important than that we feel good, which is exactly what we were talking about at the beginning of this week, about keeping our vibrations high, and in that way calling in more and more of that energy, right? And then it was also asking us to keep continuing to tell the story how we want it to be, not necessarily how it is or how it might seem to others. Okay, so remember, your what is need not influence your what is becoming, right? So your current reality in no way is shaping or forming your future reality, right? So in keeping that vibration higher, you're calling in a higher vibrational future reality, so to speak, instead of continuing the same over and over and over again, right? What you expect is what you create. So that coupled up with the need to keep our vibration high in order to unlock this whole abundance blockage thing, which is what a lot of us have been going through right now. And I have a feeling that we're doing this before this next full moon comes for a very specific reason. So there is a full moon on Monday. I don't remember what astrological sign it is in. I do know, however, that the energy is pretty intense as far as the trigger and release emotional aspects of this full moon, and space is being made for an upgrade. So I think that's a lot of the reason why this week we've been really asked to keep our vibrations as high as possible. Thor, hang on, you guys. I got to put him back in the other room. Un momento. Thanks. Sorry. I bumped my mic when I got up, apparently. Can you hear me now? Let's try that again. So, the affirmators uh, cards that we pulled this week told a little bit of a different story, um, but it definitely corroborated with our soul truth questions in the fact of we started the week off with the reminder of divine timing, right? And it came out with perseverance. So it's really asking us to keep doing the work that we've been doing. We're doing a good job. Remember everything in divine timing. And was definitely trying to give us a little bit of a pep talk as the week got started. Now, as we stepped deeper into this week, we also got the reminder about our triggers and how we need to meet the whole everyone's a teacher aspect of our lives with a little bit more friendliness, right? Because remember, a smile goes a long, long way, and you never know what anybody else is going through. And that may be the one thing that changes their whole day, right? Wednesday's reminder was a little bit more self-focused, and it was about our personal vitality and being gentle with ourselves as we go through these processes, right? So this letting go process is very difficult, not only in an emotional and spiritual and mental way, but also in a physical way too, as well, especially people who've experience trauma. We hold a lot of that inside of our physical aspect too. And this is a big time of pain release from our pain bodies. And I know, let's see, was it yesterday? I think I was talking about it. We had a huge heart chakra hit, and like I literally felt like my heart was broken, and like nothing outside of me in my current situation should have evoked that sort of an actual physical pain. So the only thing I can think about it is it was something from a previous time in this life or a previous time in another. Uh, but something had triggered that so that I could release that blockage. And after about an hour and a half or so, it went fine. So just make sure that you're sitting back and observing these things as they're cropping up for you too, and not trying to necessarily cram any sort of meaning into it. Sometimes the things we're being triggered the most by now, I mean, short of getting cut off in traffic and whatnot, but it's going to be these really big generational things. And a lot of that has to do with the planetary movements, and like everything's in retrograde practically this year. So there's going to be a lot of releasing, but it's just making room for those new things to come in. So we're getting that perseverance and divine timing, and remembering that everybody's teacher, and we need to focus on taking care of ourselves and making sure that everything's okay, right? And Thursday, the joy aspect came back with a reminder to ground ourselves in nature, right? um, a lot of times just a 5-minute walk outside in the sunshine, looking at a few flowers is enough to kind of call you back to who and what you are, right? And we ended the week with the Affirmators deck talking about our personal growth and how we should be grateful for how far we have come, and remind ourselves too that, you know, we kind of need to celebrate that a little bit. And it's important for you to celebrate you, because, you know, if you're not going to do it, then why should anybody else? You know what I mean? 2022 is going to be a lot of put your money where your mouth is, I think. Now, we got a pretty cohesive message from the universe has your back deck. I'm just going to go through those, and we'll start at the bottom and work our way to the top. So Monday, we started off with the reminder about hope being the conduit for miracles, right? And then about how when we accept the love of the universe as our primary teacher, we'll always be led back to the light. Okay, so everyone's a teacher, divine timing, hope and miracles, right? And Tuesday, the energy came in about us really needing to be unapologetic about what we desire and trust that what we focus on is going to grow, right? So definitely that whole remember to focus on the desire, not the lack. Okay. So we've been doing this little exercise around here about since we have unlimited resources, what would you do, first, second, third kind of thing, right? And then remember that in every moment, the universe is conspiring to bring you toward right-minded thinking and the energy of love. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean right versus wrong, meaning right-minded thinking, but the higher vibrational track, right? The one where you know who and what you are and what you are going to become. Because joy is our ultimate creator, right? And when we're the most joyful is when we're creating the best parts of our little vortex. Thursday, the triggers came back up again, right? And this came up with the joy is the ultimate creator card too. So it was reminding us that, these triggers usually have some sort of a deeper meaning. And personal growth is often not very comfortable. But we have that joy to fall back on in that reality building, knowing that this too shall pass. And again, we will come back out into the light, right? Because we choose to learn through love. And a lot of people collectively now are starting to make this choice instead. And that's a lot of the reason why you see so much in your outside environment kind of seemingly fall apart. It's because we're choosing to learn through love instead of this fear-based reality that we have been in. Okay. Because ultimately, we're going to do whatever it takes to get closer to consciousness. And as more and more of us wake up, it may get a little bit more chaotic, but ultimately we all know that in divine timing, it is going to be a-okay. So all in all, we had a really good message, and we had 2 affirmations for this week. The overcoming obstacles card reminds us that you can overcome anything, and we can. You just have to have this commitment to yourself, to your fellow consciousness, to your planet, to everything. My commitments increase my joy and freedom. So the knowledge that these things are taken care of is which unlocks that ability for us to feel free and at peace. So You may not be able to control everything, but there are some things that you can step in and take your power back about. So what do those things look like for you? And as we're going into this full moon week, how are you going to use it to your best advantage? Let me know in the comment section below when you come back to watch the replay of this. So to add to this week's already substantial pile of cards, we're going to pull a Soul Truth card for today. And see if we can get a little bit of a sneak peek into the energies coming up this next week. That's right here. Snow days. I kind of miss those, but I think if it snowed down here in the south, the world would end. Maybe quite literally. The south is not built for snow. It was definitely an adjustment getting used to the fact that Christmas now means 70 degrees. Quite the switch up from Washington State. So I'll just have to live vicariously through your snow days now, Robin. Although eventually, here in the not too distant future, we'll be joining you in Missouri, and I'll get my snow days back. So, there's that. I gotta see how the other half lives for a little bit, right? So, remember to look back at the triggers this week and the things that you felt yourself moving through and ask, what else could this mean? Because there are always multiple ways to look at every situation, and our first reaction is usually rooted in our fears and limiting beliefs. So look at a situation today by stepping outside of the trigger and ask, what else could this mean? At 22:22. Our soul action for today says, is there something your soul is calling you to learn in this moment? Or is there a pattern that's ready to be broken? Walk in the other person's shoes and see it from their perspective. Or if it doesn't involve someone else, ask yourself, how is life happening for me right now? And really put yourself in that conscious observer position. And that's the place where we want to be more and more often, right? As we're going through this time and the time in the future, is that conscious observer, right? Where you can look at it and go, yeah, I am really triggered right now. And I'm not sure if it's the situation that is doing it, that is happening in my reality at this very moment, or if this is old trauma coming out. Either way, I'm going to sit with this without reacting, because I do not want to keep creating from this set point, right? So you pivot yourself until you can find the set point that you want to continue from. So sit with that not so great energy, but don't create from it. Okay, so just because you're feeling something doesn't necessarily mean you have to do something about it. It is possible to just sit there and wait it out and see where it goes. More times than not, it will just simply fade away, and you can watch a few puppy videos and it'll be all better. That's how you know that, well, maybe that trigger wasn't necessarily you. Maybe it was somebody else too in your environment. And in this way, you can narrow down what you're letting through and what you're just processing as the observer. At least I've found that helpful for myself this week. Okay, let's get one more message before we reset these decks for the coming week from the Universe Has Your Back deck. And ultimately, our message for this week was My faith has the power to turn trauma into healing, conflict into growth, and fear into love. I think this card says it probably better than I did in my roundabout way, but ultimately, that is what I was talking about. Let's get a last financial focus card for this week from Esther and Jerry. And we get the 2, right? I will tell my story as I want it to be. Because if we let our dominant intention be to revise and improve the content of the story we tell every day of our life, it is our absolute promise to you that your life will become that ever-improving story. For by the powerful law of attraction, the essence of that which is like unto itself is drawn, it must be. Right? Like attracts like. So, are you wanting and praying and begging out of a place of desperation and need, or one of hope and the knowledge that miracles happen every day? That ultimately, all your wants and needs are met above and beyond your greatest expectation in divine timing, which is sometimes hard to wait for. And that joy is your ultimate creator. It's a pretty good message for this week. I'm glad I did this. In fact, we may make this a thing and I'll start collecting all the cards that we pull on the dailies throughout the week. And then we'll go through them at the end of the week. And I'm going to move these off my laptop before they shut it off on me. And gives me a good reason to go through all my decks with a fine-tooth comb. All right. Let's pull a... We'll do a soul coaching card. I guess I'm just pulling it for you, Robin, because you seem to be the only one in the chat right now. So if you pop into the chat and you want a card pulled, please put your name up. In the meantime, Robin, impeccability is your card as we go into next week. Okay? So remember, you are impeccable in your thought, word, and deed. Got a little trifecta action going on this week. So make sure... hello, Kirsten. Make sure that everything is a-okay on all fronts before you make any sort of a move one way or another. And that is definitely going to be huge. But let's see what the book says, since I have it right here in my hand. Okay, so Robin, the impeccability card says that this isn't the time to be lackadaisical or whimsical. This calls for discipline, focus, truthfulness, and certitude. So hone your skills, don't speak unnecessarily, and pay great attention to details. See what needs to be done and do it effectively, swiftly, and with a nobility of heart. You'll reap immense rewards for doing this right now, whatever this is. But you got it, and I love you. Let me know if you need any help in any way, shape, or form. All right, Kirsten. I love this card, the pleasure card. Okay. Your affirmation: my life is deliciously joyous. So there is that word again, focusing on the joys in life. So let's see what pleasure has to say to you. It says that in today's society, we're programmed to believe that pleasure is forbidden, only permitted in small amounts, or should always come after work. Kirsten, do you postpone good times because you're too busy fulfilling work commitments? Do you deny yourself joyful experiences because there's not enough time or it seems selfish? Stop. Your spirit needs pleasure. It's the soul's way of replenishing and revitalizing your life force. So make pampering yourself a priority this week, and you'll have all the energy that you need to create everything you desire. Beautiful. I love it. So definitely do some fun stuff this week, okay? All right, my lovelies. That is going to be it for this week. I hope you enjoyed this little recap. If you did not catch all of it, make sure you go back to the beginning and see all the fun energy that we moved through this week. I am going to definitely make this a thing. So Saturday will be our rewind and recap day from now on. And I have some serious cards to clean up now. So I hope all of you have the most fantastic and pleasurable weekend. Be good. Be good to yourselves and be good to each other. You're changing the world every day, starting with your own soul. I think that was it. I think I had something else to say, but now I don't remember what it is. Oh. May favor follow you wherever you go, as does my love. And I'll see you all Monday morning, full moon day. So gear up for that. And we'll be back again. I also will be doing the next installment in the Conversations with God live stream Monday night, I think. That seems to be working out the best. Bye now. Love you.